What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 5. Today we've got the biggest project we've ever tackled on Tide Timber, building a set of stairs out from the deck onto the lawn, as well as the most exciting dive I've ever had in my life. We're out spearfishing and also having the first shark encounter. That's all coming up next. My name is Ori, a city boy from Auckland and ex-Olympic swimmer, now trying my hand at this YouTube thing. I'll show you my life here in paradise as we build a future that me and my family love. We'll build stuff, grow things, cook incredible food from what we have around us, and go on the most amazing adventures. Welcome to Tide Timber. Today's job, I'm going to get started on opening this up so that you can actually exit straight out of our front door and get down onto the lawn. First hole dug. Now I've got to do another one over here, and then I can set my posts. Okay, on to the next step. Okay, you got it. I'm going to press on it quite hard. There we go. Okay, and now on the next one. Okay, good. Now we'll fill her in. Now for me, this part of the job was probably the most challenging. I'd never worked with concrete before, so it was a learning experience. Definitely made a few mistakes, and there's things I'll do differently next time. But from here, once I've got these posts set, it was pretty much just a job of getting the boxes set up, built for the stair treads, and then really just trying to get that attached in a way that was going to be suitable, and making sure that they were stable enough and connected to these posts in a way that was going to work. So yeah, once I get the posts in, I'm pretty much just going to speed up going through the box, making the boxes. I won't bore you with dragging that out, but yeah, getting those boxes done was the next task. It's quite funny watching the videos back and seeing the work you've been doing. Obviously you see stuff where you think, man, I should have done that differently. But I suppose one of the other things I notice is just the amount of work that's gone into these stairs. Probably a lot of it, I could have sped up, made more efficient in some way, shape or another, but it was a lot of just kind of refixing things and trying to dig out the holes a little bit further, and especially as it goes underneath the existing deck, you'll see there a couple of times I'm kind of putting the boxes in and then taking them out and then putting them back in and trying to rework just little bits here and there so that it was going to fit just right. So that slowed things down. But I think all in all, it was a lot of fun. I mean, at the end of the day, the whole reason why I wanted to do this channel and why I wanted to do these projects anyway is because what I've learned in life is that you've got to do something. You've got to be working away at something. You're either working away at a job you don't like, or you can work away at something like this where, yeah, it might be tough, but at the end of the day, you get something that's going to serve you and serve your family well, or, you might get something that makes your life a little bit easier. So it's about choosing what those things are that you're willing to work for. And for me, that's what this is about. This whole channel is a chance for me to work away at things. I'm not afraid of hard work, but I do want to be doing stuff that I enjoy, that I find value in. We're almost at the end now, so the next part of this will be wrapping things up, and then we'll head out for a dive and I'll show you what we see out there. It's a pretty good one today. Finally, at the end of this 3 days well spent, 2.5 days, more like 2.5. You guys will see the stairs are done. I'm happy with how they've come out. Now let me show you why I wanted these stairs. Look at that view. Alright, so this is the next morning now, getting out nice and early, which is kind of why it's a bit gloomy and grey. It does get a bit better as the morning progresses, but just starting out nice and early, I can see there's quite a bit of fish around already, so loading up the spare gun, getting organised, and we'll get into it. I'm just warming up my lungs, getting a couple of drops in, checking out this school of Koheru. There was a school of kahawai that came zooming in a little bit earlier, but I wasn't able to catch that on camera. But yeah, just getting myself warmed up and ready for the morning. You see here it's quite surgy, there's a lot of white water, but as I approach this little rock here, I make out the school of what are silver drummer. This is the first time I've seen them in the water, so I wasn't quite sure what it was actually when I first saw these fish. Took me a minute to connect the dots, but yeah, quite cool seeing them. Big school of fish. You can see how surgy it is. They're kind of just riding it up and down over these rocks here. But the silver drummer will play a factor in in this video later in the dive. You'll see what I mean. But yeah, very, very cool to get out there and see this kind of fish life. For me, it was a first. So a lot of the stuff when I'm out here diving, you can see that surge there pushing me towards the rock. A lot of the stuff when I'm out here diving is all brand new, so I do feel quite you know, like a kid in a candy store. You know, everything's brand new. You're kind of in amazement at just the simplest little things. But yeah, no, it's lovely. So I'm hunting around now for a little while. I've moved on to a different area and made the mistake of leaving fish to go and find fish. I was trying to find something like a snapper or butterfish. Ended up deciding I was going to go back to where that school of silver drummer were and just see what was around. I wasn't quite sure if silver drummer were good eating or not, but I was going to take a look at what else might be there and then make a decision. See these three little goatfish here? They're quite cool. I love the colours on them. And then out of the corner of my eye I see a small group of silver drummers, so I line up and take the shot and get a nice stone shot on this fish. So the rest of my video now is pretty much just me heading back to the shore to make my way out, but you know, making a couple of dives on my way out, seeing what else is around, exploring a little bit more, and I decide to have a go at doing some kinnaburley, see what fish come in. So that's kind of the rest of the video, with a few little exciting things thrown in there at the very end. You'll see what I mean in a minute. As I'm crushing up these kinner, I can actually see there's quite a bit of roe in them, so I make the call that I'll grab a few in the area. They obviously seem to be doing quite well. And as I take them back to the float boat, I have my first run-in ever with a shark. Now, it's a bronze whaler, and I've seen them on videos, a lot of spearfishing videos before. They always seemed quite docile and quite relaxed. Now you'll see in the video coming up, this was almost anything but. So quite a exciting way to have my first interaction with a shark. But you know, all in all, I think watching the video back, it happened so fast I didn't really know what I did, but watching it I was quite happy that I didn't kind of panic and do anything really stupid. In the end, I just made sure I kept myself and the fish safe at the end of the day, and then made it home safely. So all good. So as soon as that happened, I made the call that was probably time to get out. So I just made my way back to the closest spot that I could get out at. And while I was doing that, and I was just sitting back thinking about what had just happened, there was a couple of things that really stood out to me right off the bat. And like I said, I've seen sharks in videos before, but the size and the speed of that thing in real life was just something else. I saw him come in out of the corner of my eye. It feels like longer than what was actually in the video. I could see him coming from a while off, but he was racing towards that catch bag. And then, you know, you see him turn right and make a beeline towards me before he gets there. It was just all so quick. everything happened so fast. I didn't really get a chance to kind of think or process what was going on. But yeah, the size of him too, when I could see him coming in and just how thick of a barrel he was, it was quite impressive. So I think if that's my first interaction with a shark, hopefully the next ones won't be as hair raising. So I had a great time out in the water, and it was actually quite cool being able to see a shark like that, because I think it sets me up well for any other future interactions with them. In the end, I decided, if that shark wanted that fish so bad, I was going to make sure I kept it, and we cooked it up. It wasn't terrible. I looked online, and everybody reckoned they tasted like a mouldy sock. It wasn't quite that bad. Chucked it on the charcoal grill, bit of salt and pepper, and it came out quite nice. So wrapping up, I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. I put a lot of time and effort into these videos, and I feel like they're slowly starting to improve. So if they are, please let me know in the comments below. But I do appreciate everyone for tuning in and liking, subscribing, all that stuff. So thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next one.